Welcome to X-Files Podcast, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on. I'm Janice Formicella, a breakup coach passionate about supporting others to heal from their breakups, overcome loneliness, love being single, and see the end of a relationship as the beginning of a magical new chapter in life. I am here each week to share with you the tools that I have learned through my own painful breakups, through hitting rock bottom more than once, and through working with people all around the world to heal their broken hearts. If you are looking for hope and strength to move on from your breakup and resources to enjoy your new single life, you are in the right place, and I've got your back. Hello, dear listeners. I am so glad that you are here as always. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'm sharing a great guest interview that I'm so on fire about. And I want you to know that it was created for anyone struggling with any aspect of a breakup right now. If you are newly broken up and feeling a lot of pain, I hope that it will give you hope that there are fun things coming after the dust settles. I know that's hard to believe right now, but it's true. If you feel like you are starting to put your breakup behind you, I hope this episode will give you some ideas of things you can do to strengthen your relationship with self and more fully open the next chapter of life. And if you are feeling great about things and maybe even starting to date again or want to date again, I hope this episode will provide tools for self-exploration and learning what you want out of life and love. Sarah Mack is a colleague and a new friend of mine with a very similar philosophy around supporting singles and using a breakup as a portal for growth. She is a coach who works one-on-one with people to thrive in their single lives so that you can manifest a badass future. Please go and show her some X-Files love on Instagram at love.sarahmack. And of course, all of the info is also in the show notes. Today, Sarah and I talk about rediscovering yourself after a breakup. I want everyone to know that I just got so revved up about Sarah's 3-part process that I am now using it as a client resource with her permission. If you'd like a PDF where we outline each step, please head over to the X-Files Facebook group. That is Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. The group is active. I would really love to see you over there. And I'm going to be loading a copy of this there this week. So with that, let's get into it. Welcome to X-Files, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat again.
Me too. So everybody go and check out Sarah's podcast, which is Deeper Than Dating.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Janice was on about, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
So we can talk about this stuff for hours.
Yes, for sure. When you said that we were ending, I felt sad because we just had such a good vibe going. I did an interview on Single is My Superpower, which I did get a couple of messages from some listeners. So I'm happy that, it resonated, and I'm always excited to talk about overcoming loneliness and using solo time as a superpower. So thank you. And I was also excited to connect with you through our, mutual friends and all of that, because you're a dating coach who is particularly passionate about breakups.
Yes, definitely. Breakups and singles and just really empowering singles to let go of their past for good, because I've seen too many people, myself included, in the past, of just holding on to their exes and really questioning pretty much everything in their lives. And I know we'll dive into identity and stuff today, just empowering singles.
I love it. I think people sometimes find it so curious that I'm a dating coach who focuses so much on enjoying being single. Mm-hmm. And it's actually, I mean, to me, it makes perfect sense because you're a better partner when you're happier on your own. And I think that's really where to start if you have any desire whatsoever to date now or in the future.
Totally agree. We're like the same. We're the same.
Yes. So I'm excited about this connection. Sarah and I collaborate or cross paths in a few different areas. And before we get into reclaiming your identity after a breakup, I did want to kind of give a slight little plug for something that we work on together. And that is we are both introductory coaches for Heartstring dating app. Can you tell my listeners a little bit about it?
Yes. So yeah, Janice and I we met through, I guess that's one of the ways we got connected was through Heartstring, and our friend Lee Michael he's the founder, and he's really on the ground. What's the term? Like boots on the ground, getting this thing going out in the field. And, it's a new dating app that is focused on, it's video only. And the other thing that makes it different is you can only chat with 3 people at once, because as we see on other dating apps, if we get, we have like 10 to 20 matches, and then we kind of or personally just shut down and don't want to talk to any of them, or we feel overwhelmed. So I feel like I don't have time to do it when I'm on an app where I'm just getting bombarded with matches. It makes me, I'll just go in and delete the app because I'm definitely the type who will answer my messages at the end of the day. And if I have too many, then I convince myself that I just don't have time for it. And yes. And so that is, it's a very conscious, intentional dating app. And that is one of the features that you chat with 3 people at once. Yeah. And the other amazing bonus of this app is there's coaches on there. So he's collaborating a lot with dating coaches, sex coaches, breakup coaches, singles coaches. So a lot of divorce coaches. So we even have a co-parenting expert on there now, which I'm so stoked about. Hey, Katie. Yeah, it's a great idea.
All right, everybody go and download Heartstring. You can find it in the App Store. So, Sarah, let's get into it. I guess if you don't mind, I really enjoy asking my guests, do you have a breakup story that led to where you are today?
Yes, I do. I have a few. But I always start with my first love breakup that was really the catalyst to my self-development journey when I was 20 or 21. That's when it all started in college. And yeah, we were each other's first loves. And then I knew I needed to go experience life and kind of experience other things. I was in college. We were apart and we broke up. But we did not know how to let go. We did not know how to actually end the relationship because we kept wanting to get back together. We were best friends. So how can we, cut each other out of each other's lives? We just didn't know how to properly handle a breakup because we loved each other. But that led to a really toxic cycle of like a year and a half breaking up, getting back together. And we both just turned into like terrible people. Like it brought out the worst in both of us. Like I saw sides of myself that I never wanted to see again. I never wanted to experience again, where it was just so much anger because I felt so trapped in this relationship. I knew that it needed to end, but I didn't know there was a light on the other side. I didn't know how to get out. And I think same for both of us. So anyways, we finally somehow ended it, cut the cycle, and I feel like my life just got so much better. It's like I
That's
can
the
feel,
thing.
yeah, like it was like this moment. I had like a come to Jesus moment when it was like, um, literally the next, I somehow emotionally or let go. And after, months and months of inner work, and it was like the next day someone new came into my life. It was crazy. And so that was the first experience I got that, like, oh, there is a light on the other side when you do inner work and something shifts. And it's hard to explain because it felt like this cosmic relationship came into my life that was like, okay, this is the type of person you could be with. Let go of your ex. And
I've
that
heard this so many times about stories about people who release their ex and the
Mhm.
next day meet
It was
someone.
crazy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it was such a gift and a sign from the universe in my mind of, you've done the work. Now, move forward. Like it's time to let go. And I really let go. Like I had no feelings towards my ex. I was done. I was so done. I was so drained. But anyways, that's what really was the catalyst to my journey, because I was like, oh, I became this person. I never want to experience that again. I don't even know if I ever want to be in a relationship again. This was so traumatic. It was
Oh,
such a traumatic, like,
I felt the same way when I got divorced. I even told my ex, I was like, I'm never gonna date again.
yeah.
Like, I don't need this. Yep, I get
Yeah.
it.
And it really helped me with my, inner strength and independence, because I was like,
Yes.
I don't want to jump into another relationship. I don't want to go down that road again. So I did put up a lot of walls,
Yeah.
until, someone different came along and broke those walls down, and I fell in love again. But I really became obsessed with the psychology of love, the psychology of breakups and relationships. I was so curious how we can love someone and then feel like hating them the next moment. And I was like, what is going on in my brain? What the hell happened in my brain to make me change as a person? And I totally, lost myself. Like I didn't like the person I was through that first breakup. And I thought, why the hell are we not being taught how to handle these emotions better? Like I felt like I was in college at the time. I felt like I needed to take a college course on how to freaking get through that breakup, because it threw me so off course. Like my grades were bad those months, and I couldn't concentrate. Times I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, terrible anxiety. Like, and then, you bring your problems to your friends and your family, and there's only so much they can say or do. They don't really know,
Yeah.
understand. And then, so anyways, that was a freaking whirlwind.
A year and a half, that's a long time to be in drama and chaos.
Yeah.
And I also see it a lot. And that's why I'm such an advocate for owning your decision and no contact and all of that, because it is so hard to break away, especially when you kind of stay orbiting around each other. And yeah, it can turn
Hmm.
into this vicious cycle. I mean, a year and a half of your life, that's not a short amount of time.
Yeah, and sadly, I know it's happening a lot longer for
Yeah,
people
exactly.
where we're really not letting go of the
Mm,
relationship and not knowing when. There's that fine line of, okay, maybe we can get back together and it will
yeah.
be healthy, but this was not the case, especially, we were like children, 20-year-olds.
And that's another thing I'm quite passionate about. I think obviously people should date in their 20s, but you know what? Hold off on anything too serious, because
Yeah.
you do change. And this is what happened in my marriage was we got married so young, and you change, you become a completely different person from 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you
Mm-hmm.
really, you're not going to recognize yourself. You probably won't recognize your spouse. So
Yeah.
I love that you said that you got interested in the psychology of breakups and relationships and all of this. Is this
Mm-hmm.
when you became interested in the whole like relationships and identity? Did you feel like you had an identity crisis, or did this come later?
I would say I had a few more relationship experiences that I needed to have to learn different lessons. Like I've been in three different 3-year
Okay.
relationships. So I
Uh-huh.
have a pattern. So I've had to figure out my own patterns in the past. And I have the belief that, everything comes into my life for a reason. I'm doing the work that I'm meant to be doing, but I needed to have each and every relationship to lead me to where I'm at today. My whole 20s, I guess, was an identity crisis. I think
Oh yeah.
that's pretty common. I was in another relationship that was a just very different kind of love. We were best friends, but I mean, I say that about every single ex I was best friends with,
I mean,
but
that's not a bad thing to say about someone you're
yeah, no,
serious with.
you become best friends, I hope. But it was just a different kind of love. However, I knew he wasn't my person. And I, again, was so terrified of going through the breakup, the same experience, that I kept running away rather than facing the issue of saying, okay, you're not my person. We need to end it. I think I would sabotage. So I like literally moved to Europe to kind of get away from the relationship because I knew I needed to go find myself. Quotes find
She's
myself,
putting up quotes, air quotes. I mean, you're not wrong. We definitely need to do that in our 20s, and travel is a good way to do that. It
Mm-hmm.
parallels my story a little bit, as I
Yeah.
think you know.
Yeah. So I moved abroad for a year, which was great, but I feel like I always felt lost in love and relationships. But at the same time, was studying my patterns, was studying myself, was studying what was really going on. And I, why can we love someone? Like I was in love with this second boyfriend, this other person, yet know that he wasn't the person.
Yeah.
And that's been my biggest conflict is knowing you have to let someone go. That's been my biggest, I guess, identity crisis in love and relationships for the past decade. And it just made me more curious about, okay, well, why do we end up with these people in the first place? Why do we pick these certain partners? Like what patterns are happening there before we get into the relationship? So that kind of led me to the work I'm doing now is before we even get into the relationship, figuring out what we want. Because I just happened upon these relationships. Like you're young, you're in your 20s, you're around a group of friends, you're in
Yeah.
school together, you kind of just gravitate towards certain people. You don't really think, we're not consciously thinking about what do I want in a partner. I was not thinking about that. I was just gravitating towards a friend. We both, I think, had a trauma bond because we had both had traumatic previous breakup experiences. We really connected over that. And then we fell in love and never questioned whether, okay, is this what I want in a partner? Like that
Yeah.
just wasn't taught.
A lot of
to us.
people just go with just the chemistry that you can have between someone, which I mean, you can have
Yes.
chemistry with a lot of people and sexual attraction to a lot of people, but compatibility is a whole other thing. And you are absolutely right. People don't take the time in between relationships to sit down and, write these things out and even think about them.
So another layer to the work that I do is my dad is a divorce attorney. So
Ah,
he's in the business of breakups as well. So I always kind of
whoa.
joke that I'm taking over the family business. And I do feel like I have this subconscious fear of breakups and really going full in. And that's my own work to do. But I've seen so many nasty breakups and divorces and custody battles and children involved. And I want people to be so much more intentional with who they're deciding to spend the rest of their life with, if that's what they want, or have procreate with, like to legally be binded to another human being. And so that made me very cautious in my own relationships in the past because of this, of what I've seen in my dad's business. Like I pretty much worked in his office.
Wow. Huh. I didn't know that part of it. I find that so fascinating. I guess, yeah, okay. I'm going to probably have to circle back to that at some point. X-Files allows me the chance to make an impact that means so, so much to me. It is thrilling to support people all over the world to heal their hearts. And having Anchor has made it easier and more fun than I ever thought it would be. It is really such a blessing. If you have something you would like to share with the world through a podcast, I highly recommend them. If you haven't heard, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast and allows you to monetize from the very beginning. Download the app today and start sharing your unique message with the world. Happy podcasting. Nothing shatters your life like a breakup, and the pain of a broken heart is real. I know that it seems impossible right now, but there is hope and there are ways to heal. I would love to work with you one-on-one to heal your broken heart and put your breakup behind you. My personalized coaching programs are designed to pinpoint what will be most effective in helping you to move forward and make this breakup a part of your past. I believe in you. Message me at xfilespodcast@gmail.com or on Instagram at xfilespodcast, and let's connect about creating a magical plan of action for you to enter 2023 with this breakup in your rearview mirror. I like how that has informed your current work. And I know that part of your current work is working with singles and helping them to reclaim their identity before they date again. And why do you think that, I guess in the first place, why do people lose their identity when they're in a relationship? And should we be preventing losing our identity in a relationship? Like, is that important at all? And if so, how can you make sure that you don't lose yourself? I mean, I do that in relationships. I get really caught up. I let some of my passions go. So I can relate for sure. So can you speak a little bit to that?
Absolutely. So I think it's so common for people to have an identity crisis, especially after a breakup. You'll hear people say it all the time. Like, I feel like I've lost myself. I don't know, what's going on. I don't know where I'm going. It's really, we've lost that relationship with ourselves. And when we're spending so much time with another human, we're taking on their likes and their interests and their emotions and their thoughts that we're not leaving as much space for our own. Like, think about it. How often do people really that are in a relationship just say, okay, I need a day to myself. I'm going to sit in my room. I'm going to journal. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to really connect with myself. That's one way that I think we can prevent this loss of identity in relationship. Is really, we need that time with ourself. And it's just as simple as spending time with yourself and checking in with yourself.
Maybe I don't even need to ask this. I was going to ask, why do you think people do that? But I guess it's fairly obvious. You get really excited about someone.
Yeah.
You want to be around them all the time. And I will say from my own experience, because I have been doing this work for a while and I'm very self-aware, I started seeing someone recently, and I know they wanted to hang out, and I said, I just really need the day to myself. I just need to kind of have a reset. And he was so impressed and
Oh,
so taken back. Just like, oh, I love how you said that. I love how you expressed your needs. And I said to him, it's because, you know, what's happening is important to me. And I
hmm.
know that I have this habit of doing this whirlwind thing, and I don't want us to burn out. And so
Hmm.
I think, you know, anyone listening, if you are in a relationship or interested in someone, you might want to just think about how can you spread things out more because it
Yeah.
does really help to build trust between you and the other person, and also with yourself.
That's such a good dating tip. Like it's so attractive. The fact that you said that, it's so attractive to another human being that you are expressing your needs and you
Mhm.
are adamantly saying you need the time to yourself. The right person will be attracted to that.
Yes.
I was going to say, oh, I always blame dopamine. Like you asked
Uh-huh.
why we don't do that. And for me personally, like when I'm into someone, when I'm dating someone, I'm like, I want to do everything with them. Like
Yeah.
every experience is just so much better with the other person. And it's so easy to fall down that trap of not taking the time to yourself because it's so much fun with another person. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, if you have been on your own for a while, it's like you are getting all this dopamine from another human being. It's an addiction. But when you've really built up that relationship with yourself, especially when you've been single for some time, intentionally single, intentionally building that relationship, you do learn your needs. Like your needs to just be an optimally good human. Like, when we're jumping relationship to relationship or just we're looking for validation through dating experiences, we're not figuring out what we truly need to be our best selves because we're just looking for an external validation.
Mhm.
But when you really say, okay, I'm going to be single these next few months and I'm going to figure out what really lights me up, what really makes me want to get up in the morning without depending on another human being, without being excited about another human being, because that'll come. Like, I've done the relationships, like, I know dating will come. Let me really figure out makes me what makes life worth living for me so that I can then express that and share that in my next relationship and know how to build that relationship so that when someone does come along, you know exactly what you need to do to get back to your baseline, which is really just alignment with yourself.
Yes. Oh, you're so speaking my language. Yeah, thank you. I feel like often in this space, the goal is really just like, how can we get with the next person? And really, we need to get with ourselves first.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that you had this a pattern of going back with one of your exes, and because this is a breakup podcast, I would really
Yeah.
appreciate it if you could maybe mention or speak to how not making your identity a priority can cause you to backslide in breakups.
Yes, it's very common for people to break up, experience an identity crisis, questioning who am I? What am I even doing in this life? And then think, oh, I must need to get back with my ex because I was happy and content before the boat was rocked. And it's like you go through this breakup, you're in pain, but pain is normal in a breakup. You're going to experience an array of emotions. That's normal. What's not normal is when we feel like we need this other human to to live. Like just have grace with yourself if you are experiencing pain. But for me personally, like I mentioned, that first breakup experience, we broke up and again, I was 20, I was maybe 19, and I literally begged for him back because
Whoa.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I did not know how to get. Yeah, I couldn't. I also had knee surgery at the time, so I was just depressed because I couldn't do anything, I couldn't exercise. I feel like everything that was good in my life is gone. And I made this decision 'cause I decided to end it. And I just question everything. I wish I knew what I knew now, obviously, but we did end up, yeah, we got back together because we were in so much pain rather than accepting, oh, this is the right decision for both of us. Let's move on. But that's why it is so important. Erik Erikson is the one that coined the term identity crisis.
I
And
never have thought about this before. I mean, identity crisis, I guess to me just makes so much sense. So,
yeah,
I mean, as far as the terminology
technically,
goes,
yeah.
whoa, I was not expecting to talk about this, but I would love to hear a little bit more about the coining of the term.
He coined the term because he studied the developmental phases. So like our adolescence and what we experience in childhood. And then we really start to form our identity in our later teens, early 20s. But if we're also jumping into relationships at that time, then our identity is going to get totally mixed up. And that's the crucial time when we're really have to find ourselves again with the quotes. I have to find ourselves in our early 20s. That's why our 20s is such a decade of exploration and figuring out what we like, what we want, what we don't want. So when we get into in romantic relationships, that those can kind of interfere with this baseline identity that we're forming. So if we do go through a breakup later on in our later 20s and our 30s, then we may have to find ourselves all over again. Well, we have to build back that identity that maybe we never even created in the first place.
A lot of us don't. Of us don't. Oh, so interesting. I never really thought to look into the history of this. And now it's like all I can think about. So thank you. So Sarah, I was so excited when I listened to Deeper Than Dating and I came across one of your episodes on this very topic. And you have a 3-phase process for rediscovering yourself after a breakup. And I really want to go through each of these and get into some detail about it.
Let's do it.
So it's audit, detox, and vision. So first of all, did you come up with this on your own?
Yes.
Yay, Sarah. It's really brilliant. Fantastic. So if anyone listening is in the aftermath of a breakup, definitely get out a pen and paper right now and start taking some notes. Audit, detox, and vision. What do you mean by audit?
Yeah. So I know how overwhelming it can feel, just self-development in general and finding yourself. You don't know where to start. So that's kind of why I just made a 3-part process to really simplify in your journey and getting to know yourself. So with audit, what I like to do with all my clients is we just start with an audit of your life. Like, how are you spending your time? Are you numbing? Are you drinking too much? Are you watching too much TV? Because of course, if you're feeling crappy already because you're going through this breakup, it's really critical that we audit how we're spending each hour of our day so that we're not
I think especially after like the dust settles after a breakup, I think, and I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think, it's always important to say, if you've just kind of very recently gone through a breakup, like within the past couple of weeks, you might not be fully in a position to do a full audit. And if you're just miserable and just trying to kind of get through the day, that's also a phase. But I think we get past that, most of us, and feel like things are kind of reaching an equilibrium. And that's when this can get so juicy to explore. What do you think?
Absolutely. Because of course, when we're in so much pain, especially in the beginning, we want to numb a little bit, which
I can understand.
Yeah,
I do it too.
That's totally all good. But when we're ready to really get back on track and build that relationship with ourselves again, then we have to look at how we're spending our time. And I think of I love the happiness chemicals chart, just the dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins that we get from relationships. We have to start finding ways to give those back to ourselves. So
Yes.
having movement, getting, even getting sun in the morning, it's really the simple things that we have to get back to. So that's really what auditing means, is just taking a look at how we're spending our time. And then we can start to look at personality quizzes and our likes and dislikes. We can really start to evaluate the relationship that we just came out of so that we can start closing that chapter and any other relationships that maybe we haven't looked at in the past, and auditing how you showed up, how you wish you showed up differently, like how the other person showed up in the relationship that you weren't satisfied with. Like, what
Yes.
was missing?
And this
This
is
is
why
where you start to
coaching can be
dig.
so useful. With
Yes.
my clients who are emotionally prepared to do so, I have a
Mhm.
relationship inventory. You might be familiar with it. It takes like 2 weeks to do
Mm,
because it's so detailed, but it can also be so transformative for people to think about some of this shit for the very first time.
yeah, and it amazes me sometimes that the people haven't thought about it, and it
Mhm.
can be just the simple act of looking at examining our past. And I always say this, I always tell my clients to be the investigator of their lives. Like, they're in charge. They're not coming to coaching so that I tell them exactly what to do. Like, we have to empower them to take charge of their lives so they can show up differently in the next relationship, because we're not always going to be there to hold their hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, audit the
I
past.
Okay.
Yeah.
And um, what do you think is a good way to audit your past, maybe besides this relationship inventory? How do you think people can do that? Because I always like to be as practical and
Mhm.
as possible on X Files. So I mean, how do you work with your clients to do an audit of your past?
So for my clients, we do a love map, which is probably similar to
Okay.
relationship inventory, but I just have them take out a piece of paper and draw out a timeline of any relationships that seemed felt significant to you. So it could have been a 3 week fling, but it felt like it really
It
was.
stayed with you.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's up to your discretion of who you really include in this love map. And then I like to include pros and cons of the relationship under each
Ah,
person
yes.
and
This
why.
is so juicy. I hope everyone's listening. Or taking note is what I mean. Of
Yeah,
course, you're listening. That's
take note.
obvious.
It's such an easy exercise. And then
Ooh.
um pros and cons, and then why were you attracted? Ask yourself why you were attracted to this person in the first place. Like, and then I also like to think about, okay, think about the day before you met this person or weeks leading up. Like, what state of mind were you in? Were you in a vulnerable state of mind? Were you having really low self-worth? Were you at your high? You have to really examine how you as a person were before this person came into your life, because we're whole people, we're whole people before we meet these people, and then when we go through the breakup we feel like we're so broken. But we have to remember, like, you were a person before you met this person. You were okay. So just everyone's different, but examining how you were before the relationship.
This is brilliant. So, just to recap, you are going to make a timeline of your most significant relationships. You're going to do a pros and cons list of each. Think about why you were attracted to this person, and then think about what was happening in the weeks or days leading up to meeting them. I
Yeah.
love this. Thank you so much, Sarah. And can you also, I mean, this is so brilliant. You are just a really talented coach, I can tell.
Oh, thank
Can
you.
you also tell us a little bit about the importance of a values audit and what that looks like?
Yes. So in the process of doing all this, like the love map work, we can start to see patterns. And if you really dig underneath and we do look at our core needs and our core wants, we can start with our core values, which It's so easy. Just Google values lists. So it'll be
It's
like a
really
hundred
fun.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
and
done it twice this year.
yes, it's
Mm.
good. It's good to do. And there's like 100 words. And I always say pick out circle 10 that feel really relevant to you. That's like you need this in your life. So leadership or love or friendship.
I know
Yeah.
my top two because I've done this twice, as I said. And so like, for instance, my top two are freedom and self-reliance, which, that might not
Yeah.
seem sexy to some people, but at the end of the day, these are really two things that define me more than anything.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I only know that because of doing, the 10 and the 5 and
Yeah.
and it means a lot to me to know what I'm about, for sure. And it
Yes.
does for my identity.
And then even when you do this exercise, you probably feel some sort of connection to yourself because you get back to like,
Mm.
what is at your core? Oh, this is what's really important. All the other
Yeah.
crap that comes up, like everything else holding me back, that doesn't really matter. Like, let me stick to these values. This is really what my core at my core. So like Janice said, she narrowed it down to two, which can be really hard for people. So if you start with 10, narrow it down to 5. Okay, if you have to pick two, what are your two most important values? And then we can ask questions like, how are these values showing up in your life right now? Where are you out of alignment with these values? Because if this is what's really important to you, then how can we get back to that? How can this is really what getting back into alignment is about, is getting back to what really matters to you. And in relationship, that can be so convoluted. And then you can go further. You can go layers and layers further with all of these exercises. But you can ask, was my ex showing up in these values? Like, do I want
Yes.
my future partner to have these values?
And I think
So,
also when you start dating again, if you know what your values are and also a number of other things, you can compare that to how you're showing up in relationships and the people who you're interacting with. And I know for me, it helps me to stay true to myself if I'm
mhm,
constantly doing this evaluation, but because I did the work before I dated.
mhm.
So, what about detox? I thought that this was a really interesting part of the 3 phase process of discovering
Yeah.
ourselves, rediscovering ourselves. So, what do you mean by detox and how do you do it?
So yeah, all the work we did in the audit, which is really audit, investigating the past, and really taking inventory of what's in your life now, then we have to get rid of what doesn't align. So again, we did a time audit. Well, what's not working? What am I spending too much time on that's really dragging me down? For me, I get sucked into TV. I really do love I love TV.
Huh.
But
Okay.
like, yes, sorry, I was sick the past week, watched a lot of TV. My mood is low. So it's like just observing what is affecting your mood or vibration. I guess we can talk about our vibrations, but and then getting rid of what is not aligning. So if we do the values list, what is not aligning with my values right now and how can I cut that out?
Mhm.
And it's being brutally honest
Oh,
with
I
yourself.
see. Yeah, gotcha. And that can be tricky. I
Yes.
know I've had to kind of separate myself or create considerable distance with certain friends and family members because
Hmm.
of this. And
Hmm.
that's really challenging for sure. And even work. I'm a freelance writer in addition to being a coach, and I've had to walk away from money
Hmm.
before because it just felt so it was
Yeah.
just conflicting so much with what my truth was, having certain people around me, even professionally.
And that's really where we work on our boundaries too. It's like once we've defined what we need in our lives to really live our most optimized lives, then how can we practice setting boundaries so that nothing comes in and disrupts what I need to really live my best life?
So I work with my clients a lot on boundaries. And what surprises me because I'm so immersed in this space is how much I find so many people are kind of a deer in headlights when you ask
Mm-hmm.
them if they know what their boundaries are. A lot of people don't. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
want to be treated with kindness. I want people to be
Yeah.
nice to me. How many boundaries do you think, it's important to maybe write down, or how can you really know that you have a firm idea about what your boundaries are?
Mm. Obviously depends on the person and yeah, what triggers them because if we're auditing, I mean, triggers is a whole other thing to audit of like, okay, I keep getting triggered or emotionally triggered by this one person. I need to really take note of that or this one experience or my job every single day, like my
Mhm.
boss every single day. Then it really depends like what is really getting in your space, getting in your and triggering you and taking note and observing what that is. And then that's where we would start to practice putting up boundaries around those things to as a sort of protection of showing up as our most authentic self. So yeah, you can't really put, I guess, a number on it, but
Yeah,
it
that's
just,
fair. That's fair.
yeah.
Mhm. So we have audit, detox, and the last part of the three-phase process of rediscovering ourselves is vision. This was fun to hear you
Yeah.
talk about. So tell us a little bit about the vision phase.
Yes. Vision is probably one of my favorite words and my
Mm.
favorite phase, definitely, because, and I started a breakup school this year that really helps. Did I not tell you
My
that?
eyes just got really big, everyone. I don't think I knew this.
Yeah. It's a small group program, breakup school. And the whole point is to create this new future that we're so in love with that we really finally move on from the past. Because when we're really too stuck on the past and not letting go, we're usually stuck in one of the grief phases because we haven't truly accepted that this past relationship is over. So we have to start intentionally creating a new future. We have to find what really lights us up, what gets us excited, what do we want our lives to look like a year from now, 5 years from now, and envisioning that perfect day and that the partner that we want to call in eventually. And we've done the work of looking at our values, looking at what's important to us. Now, how are we incorporating those in our vision of the future? So this is where future visioning and manifesting comes in, and you can do all the things. We can do vision boards.
Yeah. So how do you, I actually also have a lot of people ask me how to do a vision board. I know that you're a Pinterest fan.
Yeah.
So can you talk maybe a little bit about that and maybe some other ways that people might put this together? And then I will share how I do it.
Yes, I think Pinterest is a great place to start, especially the more you use it, the more it really gets specific to you. That's not the
Yes,
word
I
I'm
guess
thinking
the
of.
algorithm, is that what we're
Yeah.
looking for? Yes, they start suggesting things that they
Yes.
know you're going to like. It is really fun. I love that app.
Yeah. So I have boards for every year I'll make a board and it's really getting that visual of what is getting you excited. What really makes you think, oh, that's what I want in my life. So I have like a vision for my future home, future family, all the things that really make me think, oh, that feels very authentic to what I want to call in.
Mhm.
And so once you can kind of picture it, then it sets the wheels in motion. And I go further and I take photos and put them in Canva so that I have like an actual vision board, a digital vision board. And then I have something called a morning formula that's like every morning just connecting with that vision. So you know, okay, this is the life I'm working towards. This is really what lights me up. And setting kind of a ritual for yourself, having your morning coffee and
Mhm.
and looking at your vision, like so you know it's a way for giving yourself hope. What's going to give you hope and for your future?
Love
How do
it.
you do it?
I'm a big vision board person for sure. I always do it at the beginning of the year, though I don't put any pressure on myself. I do it in January, but in 2021, I actually did it in February because I was just like not feeling it in January. So what
Yeah.
I do is I journal I probably do set a timer. It's kind of how I am. I just journal about all of the things that I want for the year, normally in bullet points, just everything from money, relationships, house, sometimes energy that I want to call in.
Hmm.
And then I go back through and I circle the words that jump out at me. And then I put each of those words on a different little card that I write.
Hmm.
I'm a big I like hand lettering.
Yeah.
And so I make it really, really pretty. And then I put all of the words on a board and then I just decorate it and just make it lovely to look at.
Yeah. I love that.
So it's just words. Though this year I put also a picture of a goddess on it, a picture of a phoenix on it, and some butterflies and some hummingbirds. All
Yeah.
things that I love because I want it to be nice to look at. And it's posted. I mean, it's an actual poster board. It's not, I mean, it is gorgeous. In fact, I'll text you a picture of it.
Okay.
But it's large and it's where I can see it multiple times a day. And it's where other people can see it as well. Because
Yeah.
if
I
you
love
come
that.
into the room, you're not missing it. In
Hmm.
fact, one of the words that I put on there was sex for this year. And I have to be kind of careful sometimes because if I ever do a Zoom call in my room, it's also like the biggest word for some reason. And it's
Yeah.
like right by my head if I ever do,
Of
do a Zoom
course.
call. But I don't know. It's something I
Yeah.
wanted in this year.
Yeah.
So, something that I thought was really interesting from the episode you did on this was you actually encouraged people to kind of lean into feelings of jealousy. Can
Hmm.
you quickly tell us about that? I liked that. I feel that oftentimes we're encouraged to avoid jealousy. And
Hmm.
so, but you are actually of the belief that we can use jealousy to manifest things.
Yeah. So it's reframing anytime we feel envy or jealousy, especially scrolling on social media. I think being really intentional about what we're feeding our brains. So intentional scrolling. I think of it now as kind of like shopping. So what do I want to manifest? What am I seeing other people doing? And I get this little spark of envy. That's my brain telling me this is something you desire that you know you can have. There's something in you that knows that you're capable of attracting that, you're capable of building that, whatever it is. So if we really are intentional about what we're looking at and noticing our feelings as these come up, there's something in you that desires what you're seeing. So don't hang up on it too long, because I know when we do typically feel envy, especially on social media, it will lead us down a negative thought spiral,
Okay.
which is why I think a lot of people feel really low mood and can be depressed from social media. So
Yeah, that's really interesting. I know often people are really discouraged from scrolling at all because
mhm.
of this. But envy is such a human, such a natural, such a raw emotion. And so I love your approach that instead of avoiding it and saying, "Oh no, I can't feel this way. I need to distract myself from this," to listen to it
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
use it.
There's something that's resonating with you,
Yes.
your brain, your soul. Like there's something that you desire there. So just flip it around on its head and say, don't sit in envy for too long.
A
Immediately,
thousand percent. I'm not
yeah,
trying to at all get people to run with this
I think
too much.
it's also, it's a practice that I've done. So it's a practice. Now, if I immediately catch myself envy, I think I question, okay, what is it here that I'm desiring? What do I want? Ask yourself that question and get in that practice. It's that simple.
Thank you.
I learned that from manifestation teacher Lacey Phillips. So ooh. I'm not going to claim that, but
Sarah, thank you so much. Before we wrap up, can you please speak to a growth mindset and how we can develop a growth mindset and what it has to do with healing a broken heart?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's growth mindset versus fixed mindset, which is from Carol Dweck. So growth mindset versus fixed mindset. It was really a psychology study of, okay, is there validity in having a growth mindset? And yes, we believe ourselves to be able to change. So a lot of people think that they are fixed as they are. Like, I attract a certain person. I always attract these types of people. Then that's just how I am. So
I just can't. I can't get over it. I just can't.
When people say, I just always want to go back to my ex, or I always do this. Like, you're saying I have a fixed mindset, where a growth mindset knows I'm capable of change. I'm capable of growth. We know this with neuroplasticity. We're capable of changing our brains. We are capable as humans of rewiring our neural circuits in our brains. We can change. That's a growth mindset. So you do not always have to attract the same type of people. You can change your life. You can change your future. Just knowing that is a growth mindset.
Part of what I'm hearing is it can help heal a broken heart, because I think we do get to a phase in many breakups where it just seems like it's controlling us instead of the other way around. And it can be very liberating to discover or accept or to convince ourselves that we do have the power to get past this.
Yes. And it's exactly what you just said. It's getting liberating. It's getting your power back, knowing you do have the power to change. You are not a stone. You're not a tree. You want change in your life, you can make it happen.
And if you want to rediscover yourself, as lost as you might feel right now listening to this, if you've gone on Spotify and looked up breakups and because you're in so much pain, I promise you can get there. And go slow. This 3-phase process, these are things that take time, especially when you are in pain. So give yourself grace. And then, like I said earlier, once the dust settles, you can really have so much fun with these things. And that's why I was so fired up when I listened to your episode on this. And I think you're doing wonderful work. If anyone is listening and feeling that this is something they can't overcome, I am sending you so much strength for the week ahead. If you liked this episode, of course, I would not mind if you left me a 5-star rating and review on Apple and let me know. And Sarah, I so appreciate what you're doing for people, for the world. I am so glad that I got to know you. Where would you like people to go and say hello?
Definitely on Instagram at love.sarahmac. That's
so great. And I have to say, you've got the best name. It seriously sounds like from a movie or something.
Thank you.
I'm not joking. It's really cute. Love, love, love it. All right. Well, I will see everybody next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to X-Files podcast. I sincerely hope that you found today's episode inspirational or useful. I would love to support you on your healing journey. All you have to do is send me a message through the X-Files Instagram account, and I will personally be in touch to get you started. Remember, If you are struggling with a broken heart, your feelings are temporary. I am sending you so much love and luck for the week ahead. You've got this.